Well, this is Kaiju Talk Radio. This time we're going to do a little bit of a commentary on a particular YouTuber that seems to be doing pretty well for themselves. Her name is Stephanie Bethany, and I'll just say right now, they do have a decent palette of what they are presenting to themselves. And this time she's going to be talking about faking autism. So let's watch with her, shall we?
Some related things with a focus on being research-based. Today I want to talk to you about the rising conversation around faking disorders, including autism. This is a controversial topic, and I imagine some people are going to have some big emotions over it, so please use restraint when engaging with others in the comment section, please. And please bear with me before making assumptions about what I'm going to say or how I see things, etc. Now,
okay, one thing I will continue to note, and this is just for like a general topic of conversation. I don't know her credentials necessarily, as I just came across her channel online. But I figure, it'd be an interesting discussion to have since we're here. And since we're talking about a fake autist, we're going to be showing what this person believes faking autism means. And from the article I've read on their website, I do find them interesting enough to kind of showcase their work. So, the way I see it, the more the merrier. This will kind of help us understand Andrew Ditch and why he fakes autism the way he does. So, let's continue.
A while ago, I made a video on autism self-diagnosis, and I had no idea that I would have to revisit this as quickly as I have. My biggest thing about that video and the concept was that I didn't think people would want to have autism, and so it didn't make sense to me why someone would go after researching something like this and end up self-diagnosing when there's such a stigma around it. That has changed. Acceptance efforts and visibility online has kind of led to this unintended side effect. While it's very nice that autism isn't seen just as a pile of negative things, there's also something strange that has occurred now. It is primarily amongst young people somewhat cool, trendy, or some kind of level of status or clout to have a disorder such as autism.
This kind of leans over into Andrew Ditch, the way he reacts to certain things, but I don't think he does it necessarily to be cool. As she continues to explain a little bit further, if she's going to do what I think she's going to do, word for word, on her website, she will make mention of what Andrew does.
DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, and or Tourette's. I think we need to acknowledge that this is true. People are faking or mimicking because it gives them a sense of identity, a reason to be considered oppressed or unique, or just in general gives them access to one of the strongest drugs on the internet, clout. That does not mean that every person who makes content online or finds out about a misdiagnosed or undiagnosed condition from something like YouTube or TikTok or whatever is faking or mimicking or just maybe a very misled person. A lot of people do.
Okay, she does make a very good point right there. There is always a possibility of someone being kind of misread, misidentified as autistic or as something on the mental spectrum. It's happened before. It happened to me before. Everyone thought I was autistic when really all I had was ADHD. But it was a misdiagnosis. And it's not really a super negative diagnosis, but it's a diagnosis nonetheless. The biggest thing I think that might have fooled them was my hyper-focusization on a certain goal, on a certain topic of mine. Like if I have a certain goal that I need to do, just like clean dishes, for example. I'm going to hyperfixate on cleaning dishes all day, even though it's like a 5-10 minute job. And that's kind of how I see myself. Now, is it autism? No, it isn't autism. It is, however, one of the signs of autism. But it's a very complicated disorder that takes years and years of practice and understanding to know whether a person truly has autism or not. That's why you get some people that later on down life just get diagnosed with autism. You know, let's continue.
Find out these things authentically. And a lot of people, such as myself and many in our community, are authentic people sharing content that is very helpful. For example, with Tourette syndrome, someone's tics can trigger tics in another person with Tourette syndrome or a similar motor disorder. Or with autism, people might become more comfortable engaging in stims. Just because someone watches content and does similar things doesn't mean they're faking. The problem is that those who are faking, who desire that sense of identity or uniqueness or just want a little drop of clout, are really, in my opinion, side effects of this idea of acceptance and awareness above understanding. Many times people who are knowledgeable about a condition or have a condition can see very quickly the people who are mimicking or faking, because that person who is doing that doesn't even really actually understand how what they're trying to fake works. They've just seen something.
Yeah, that sort of fits the bill with how Andrew works. And you notice how Andrew always calls into question my thoughts on autism, especially within his videos, within his content. But the thing is, I will say outright that I'm not a big, what's the term I'm looking for? I'm not big into the spectrum of studying of autism. I'll admit that outright. But I can tell whether someone is mimicking or lying about something. What they'll do is they'll over-exaggerate on a common topic to like another degree, another level. Like you always hear the topic of autism being, well, you kind of feel distant from everyone. When someone feels that way, and it doesn't necessarily mean they have autism. And sometimes they'll exasperate it to a high enough degree that they won't even interact with people around them. They'll just be in their own little corner and do what they do. That's just the way it is. And that's one of the signs that they could be faking autism. You just gotta question stuff like that. Just small behaviors like that are what lead to a better understanding as to who is doing what. Let's continue.
Online and think that they have enough of a grasp of it to copy it themselves. This isn't to say that everyone who falls under faking or mimicking is doing this out of some evil desire, or even in some cases super consciously. Part of this phenomenon might actually be explained by the concept of social contagion. Basically, when you're constantly exposed to a concept or idea, you are likely to adopt that concept or idea, especially if the person who is presenting that concept or idea is seen in a positive light by you. This could be through believing that they have no reason to lie to you or to deceive you.
That could be a possibility with Andrew Ditch. I mean, you gotta look at the fact that he mimics a lot of things. I mean, just look at his fake Tourette's. Like, does he have it? Yes, he does, but he doesn't have it to the degree he thinks he does. It's only when Tom brings up the fact he has Tourette's that he starts mimicking those types of behaviors of Tourette's, therefore kind of showing that he could fall under this category of thinking. You know, I mean, I still don't have sympathy for Andrew, and neither should any of you. But I just want to present to you that idea as showing that's a possibility of what Andrew is. But there's more to the story than meets the eye. Let's continue.
Or that they would gain nothing, or from seeing how popular someone is. The more and more you hear and see this idea, the more likely you are to adopt it for yourself. Checklists and screeners that are meant to be helpful can unconsciously be manipulated or simply too vague and can appear to confirm to you that you should adopt this concept, mindset, idea, etc. Many people don't consciously think to adopt something. They usually do this unconsciously, such as how social contagion usually works. Social contagion seems to be better termed mass sociogenic illness, defined as the rapid spread of illness, signs, and symptoms affecting members of a cohesive group, originating from a nervous system disturbance involving excitation, loss or alteration of function, whereby physical complaints that are exhibited unconsciously have no corresponding organic etiology. In fact, when it comes specifically to the situation regarding tics, as I imagine this is the condition with the most visible effects out of the most popular conditions people appear to be mimicking, the term
or Cam Reed for people with...
Okay, I think I'm just going to end this off right here because this Bethany does do a impressive job with explaining how things work with autism, but feel free to check out her channel. And this is just going to be an out there sort of channel, just showcasing some of her work. She does seem to explain her stance on things very well, and I highly recommend you check out her channel. And thank you very much for checking out my channel. This is Kaiju Talk Radio, signing off.